1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. A subcommittee has been appointed to carry out the 21st Amendment to the Constitution. More powers will be vested with the Parliament. Another shipment of 3,600 metric tons of liquefied petroleum gas has arrived in the island. The IMF urges Sri Lanka to tighten monetary policy, raise tax to address debt woes. A new system will be introduced to issue visas for long-term periods for foreign investors. Measures have been taken to amend the Electricity and Petroleum Products Act. In foreign news, Macron faces immediate challenges to power after victory. Now the news in detail. The Cabinet of Ministers has approved a proposal to introduce the 21st Amendment to the Constitution based on the positive features of the 19th and 20th Amendments. Meanwhile, a subcommittee has been appointed to carry out further action with regard to the proposed 21st Constitutional Amendment. The committee report on constitutional reforms had been handed over to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Various parties have expressed their views on the introducing of suitable amendments to the Constitution in order to maintain the stability of political, economic and social to seek solutions for the existing economic crisis in the country. A relevant proposal has been submitted by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa to the Cabinet. Accordingly, more powers will be vested with the Parliament while strengthening the democracy in the country. Litrogas Lanka Limited says that a shipment of 3,600 metric tons of liquefied petroleum gas has arrived in the morning. Thereby, the distribution of this LP gas will commence tomorrow. According to Litrogas Lanka, another shipment of 3,600 metric tons of LP gas, for which the payment has been settled, will arrive in Sri Lanka on Thursday. Meanwhile, the Petroleum Corporation says that there is sufficient stocks of fuel in the country and measures will be taken to distribute without any shortage. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Sri Lanka must tighten monetary policy, raise tax and adopt flexible exchange rates to address its debt crisis, a senior International Monetary Fund official said today. The country of 22 million people has requested loans from the IMF as it struggles to pay for imports and crushing debt and sharp drop in foreign exchange reserves that has fueled soaring inflation. Quote unquote, we've had very good, fruitful technical discussions on preparations for the negotiations with authorities over the past weekend and couple of days before, said Anne-Marie Gildwolf, acting director of the IMF's Asia and Pacific Department, speaking at an online news conference. A new system will be introduced to issue visas for long-term periods for foreign investors. It will issue visas from 5 years to 10 years based on the amount of dollars that has been invested. The government said that the visas will be issued for the investors who are investing more than $75,000 and for their dependents. In addition, visas will also be issued for 10 years for the investors who will invest $100,000 in recognized commercial banks accepted by the central bank. The cabinet approval was given to this new system on the 7th of last month. Lanka Electricity Act will be amended. The necessary regulations have been prepared and the recommendations of the Attorney General has been received for the draft bill. It is scheduled to be submitted to the Parliament to publish in the Government Gazette notification. The Cabinet approval has been received to the relevant proposal presented by the Minister of Power and Energy. A committee will be appointed to evaluate the financial proposals on foreign exchange and power supply. A committee will be appointed under the patronage of the Secretary to the Prime Minister, comprised with 4 ministry secretaries. The Cabinet of Ministers has given the approval to amend the Petroleum Products Act to allow specific sectors of the economy to individually import and use the fuel they require. As fuel is essential for all economic activities in the country, it has been identified that it is appropriate to issue licenses to selected specific sectors of the economy to import and use the fuel they require individually, the Government Information Department said in a statement. And that was local news, and now we move on to the main news story. Zonal education directors said that the educational activities in all schools in the island will be carried out as usual. The arrival of teachers and students to schools are at a higher level. Zonal Education Director Srilal Noni said that the education activities in the schools of Western Province are functioning as usual. Education Director of the Uva Province D.M. Ratnayaka stated that educational activities in 890 schools in the province are being carried out as usual. And now in Watchlight, the government has approved the visa extensions for Russian and Ukraine tourists who are stranded in Sri Lanka due to Russia-Ukraine crisis. Accordingly, the previous visa extension was granted on February 28th for a period of 2 months, free of charge. Since this crisis between the two countries has not yet subsided, the government has approved the proposal presented by the tourism minister to extend the visa period of Ukraine and Russian tourists staying in the country so that they can remain longer in Sri Lanka. And that was Watchlight. Coming up next is World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
World News headlines. Macron faces immediate challenges to power after victory. North Korea holds parade to mark military's anniversary. UN chief meets Turkish president over Ukraine crisis. Now the world news in detail. Emmanuel Macron has done something no other French president has achieved before, winning re-election while still being in charge of his own government. The centrist president's victory over Marine Le Pen may have been convincing, but he has a problem. There are few elections around the corner to France's National Assembly, and a big selection of the electorate dislikes him. Politically, if he fares badly in the June elections, he could end up losing his majority and may not be able to form his own government. That's why his opponents are calling the next vote a third round. North Korea held a highly expected military parade yesterday. That's according to the country's state media. It marks the 90th anniversary of the founding of its military. The last time the country held a parade involving its regular army was in January last year. The Korean Central News Agency reported Tuesday that the latest parade took place at a square in central Pyongyang. It says the country's leader Kim Jong-un stressed in his speech measures to quickly further strengthen and develop nuclear weapons. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres is meeting with the world leaders to push for a diplomatic solution to the crisis in Ukraine. Guterres met with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan in Ankara yesterday. The two agreed that more must be done to establish safe passage for civilians caught in the fighting in Ukraine and to deliver humanitarian aid. Guterres also praised Turkey's efforts to end the fighting. Erdogan has spoken with Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Turkey has also hosted ceasefire talks with negotiators from both sides. And back to the headlines of the world news. Macron faces immediate challenges to power after victory. North Korea holds parade to mark military's anniversary. UN chief meets Turkish president over Ukraine crisis. And that ends World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of...
From the first step you take till the time we meet, the trusted leader prioritizes you always.
All you need under one roof. People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News is brought to you by... Let's take coal out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
7 canals in the Galle district will be developed. 16 million rupees will be spent for the program. The aim of this program is to supply water needed for the cultivation activities continuously. 700 families will be benefited by implementing this program. And that was development news.
Development news was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank, we present your future.
A 7-member women's rugby pool has been named targeting the forthcoming Commonwealth Sports Festival. 20 members are included in the pool. The pool has been selected after conducting the selections for the tournament with the approval of the Minister of Sports. And that was Sports News.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The long-standing bond and the trust among the Japanese investors and the Sri Lankan employees and their management led to a visit by a Japanese delegation to the country recently. The Board of Investment of Sri Lanka hosted the Japanese delegation headed by Ruan Nishioki, CEO of the Colombo International Airport Hotel Project. And that was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
In economic news, treasury bills valued at 87 billion rupees will be issued. The auction will be held tomorrow. These bills will be issued maturing on 91, 182 and 364 days. And that was economic news. On to the weather report. The Met Department says that showers or thundershowers will occur in western, central, Sabaragamuwa, southern, Uva and northwestern provinces during the afternoon or at night. Fairly heavy showers above 50 millimeters may occur at some places in the western, central and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in the Galle and Mathura districts. That was the weather report. And to end this news broadcast, let's take a look at the headlines once again. A subcommittee has been appointed to carry out the 21st Amendment to the Constitution. More powers will be vested with the Parliament. Another shipment of 3,600 metric tons of liquefied petroleum gas has arrived in the island. The IMF urges Sri Lanka to tighten monetary policy, raise tax to address debt woes. A new system will be introduced to issue visas for long-term periods for foreign investors. Measures have been taken to amend the Electricity and Petroleum Products Act. In foreign news, Macron faces immediate challenges to power after victory. And that ends this news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.